Who doesn't enjoy the lovely experience of being on a plane flying high up in the sky? For sure, everyone does want to have the experience of how it feels to be in the air. The comfortable and beautiful sight view of the sky, as well as the lovely memorable experience we get to share with our family and friends, are not worth missing. What if, however, I tell you that there are airports all over the world that can make you afraid to board your eagerly anticipated flight? Yes, look out for number 1, because not only is it the most dangerous airport, but capable of shaking even the most intrepid traveler and bringing down the most seasoned pilot. Are you new to this channel? Don't forget to click the subscribe button and also click the bell notification icon for more informative videos like this. The top 10 most dangerous airports in the world. Number 10. Toncontin Airport, Honduras. This airport is situated in a valley and serves the Honduras capital. Compared to any mountain airport, it is located 1,000 meters above sea level. Successful plane landing requires the pilot to perform a sharp 45-degree turn around the mountains and watch that the underside of the aircraft doesn't contact the ground. They must also travel down hills that are fogged in. They must start climbing as soon as the plane takes off to prevent colliding with populated hills. Additionally, the passengers' altitude drops, thus causing their eardrums to burst. Toncontin hosts 800,000 travelers each year and is still ranked as one of the world's most hazardous airports by International Aeronautical Organization. Number 9. McMurdo Air Station, Antarctica. The weather factors play a role in the U.S. Antarctic Air Station's inclusion on this list. Although the runway at the airport is lengthy, sufficient, nevertheless, snow frequently forms on it. However, if the landing is imperfect, the aircraft may wander. The majority of the year is cold, and nighttime hours are never-ending. The use of night vision goggles for landing is therefore taught to pilots. Therefore, because they're on the ice, the runway doesn't have any constant lighting. Even with the sun shining, landing and takeoffs are risky. It is required that pilots land on a section of the surveyed Arctic Sea ice runway. Even the most accurate projections cannot foresee how the station may alter due to Arctic weather. It gains speed and blows up winds at the height of 3,000 meters. Number 8. Barra International Airport, Scotland. This airfield can be found on Scotland's Barra Island. The elevation is just 5 meters above sea level due to the fact that all 3 runways are covered during high tide. Flights are only planned during specific times of the year when the tide is low. The fact that it is the only beach airport on the planet increases its relevance. This runway is between 680 and 846 meters long. This airport was designed to accommodate planes with shorter flight operations abilities. The pilots take care to land the aircraft on the beach. Small wooden sticks are frequently used to indicate the proper landing zone for the aircraft. The actual risk isn't from unmarked runways, rather it's from seals frequently emerging from the beach who can't differentiate between the coast and the airport. Therefore, they must be returned to the sea by special airport personnel. Daily traffic at this beach airport exceeds 10,000. Additionally, the facility receives at least 1,500 airplanes each year. Number 7. Madeira Airport, Portugal. Despite being a well-known tourist destination, the airport at Madeira, Portugal, is also one of the most dangerous in the world. The runway was extended from 2,000 to 2,078 meters. However, the addition was constructed on an ocean-facing platform that was supported by 180 columns. The fact that there are persistently strong gusts that make landing difficult just makes the situation worse. This airport is only used by professionally qualified pilots. When flying and landing, these pilots sit in the jump seat after undergoing specialized test flights. Despite their talent and expertise being used to assist in a good landing, it doesn't always turn out nicely. It is a danger for ascent and descent operations. Number 6. Courchevel International Airport, France. A successful takeoff or landing at this airport would require a miracle due to numerous negative factors there. Before even getting to the airport, things get complicated. To gear up for landing, pilots must fly through the small valley. The runway is one of the world's smallest at 525 meters, and with a downward grade of 18.5%, landing is the trickiest operation there. If the pilot lacks sufficient expertise, he could crash into a cliff, taking both his own life and the lives of the other travelers with him. The airport is located at a height of 2,800 meters above sea level. Due to the awful takeoff and landing conditions, pilots who land here are required to complete social tutoring. Even with light jets, large and mid-sized jets are not permitted to land at this airport due to safety issues. Few passengers and little luggage are carried by the majority of privately owned planes that land here. Before we continue, we've got a fact talk for you. Do you know that if you're an optimist, it could help you live longer? Number 5. Lukla Airport, Nepal. The primary airport used by visitors climbing Mount Everest is Lukla. However, if you believe that arriving at this airport is more difficult than hiking the mountain, you must be kidding. The airport's runway, which is almost the shortest in the world, is located between two mountains. It is remarkable that it is only 527 meters long. To make this situation worse, the airport's elevation of 2,896 meters above sea level and the area's weak energy infrastructure make it challenging for pilots to communicate with air traffic controllers. Aircraft are occasionally required to land alone. This airport has a hostile natural surrounding at the runway's landing end, in addition to issues with runway length and height. It is unquestionably vital to use the brakes promptly. If you fail to reach the air, you'll probably fall to the mountainside. Other than that, the weather can change suddenly. Number 4. Princess Juliana International Airport. At the end of the runway at this airport, there is a beach that is well known. People enjoying the location are subjected to a strong breeze and sand when a plane flies over it. The size of the runway, which is 2,179 meters long, presents the major difficulty rather than the beach's presence. For conventional airplanes, this may not be an issue, but the planes arriving here need at least 2,500 meters to pass. The airport was initially designed for small aircraft, but as tourism increased, larger aircrafts began flying there often. A 20-year concession granted in 1997 allows Princess Juliana International Operating Company to run this airport. Number 3. Paro International Airport. Only a select few pilots are allowed to land at this airport due to its high level of hazard. The runway is only 1,981 meters in length, and it is surrounded by mountains with peaks rising to 5,500 meters. The pilots are unable to see the pathway until just before landing, when they are compelled to fly at a 45-degree inclination. Additionally, scores of houses strewn throughout the mountainside must be scanned by aircraft. Landing is only permitted during the daytime in ideal weather due to harsh conditions. Only 8 pilots worldwide are allowed to fly in this area because the terrain is so dangerous. Approximately 30,000 people visit the isolated spot each year, in spite of the locals' misgivings, in order to experience a fleeting sense of fate. Only 2 airlines are permitted to operate in this special airport, in contrast to many other unsafe airports with dreadful features. Number 2. Wellington International Airport. New Zealand's capital is served by the 3rd busiest airport in the nation, Wellington International. Its 2081-meter runway begins and ends in the water. Even in large aircrafts, it is infamous for making erratic and bumpy landings, which produces powerful gushes of wind in northwesterly circumstances. Pilots find it very challenging to maneuver landings in this circumstance. Every time they enter the airport, travelers frequently have hair-raising experiences. However, pilots express concern that the airport may not adhere to the best practices for international aviation safety. One of the days when travelers carry their hat close to their heart is when they touch down. If at all possible, avoid using the Wellington Airport if you're thinking about visiting New Zealand, unless you want to await the events to see what happens. Number 1. Gibraltar International Airport. While it's not one of the trickiest airports to land on, this one stands out for another reason. The major highway of the city crosses the airport runway, and traffic must stop any time a plane lands. To prevent any accidents, the pilot must land with full brakes. Fortunately, there is a spotlight on the highway to warn motorists to stop when necessary. This safety measure has assisted in limiting access. This operation has served more than 300,000 travelers since 2008. Only 1,829 meters long annually, this airport structures are distinctive. The pilot's experience and efficiency on the ground services have a significant impact on the safety of the flights. Traveling around the world looks so fascinating and enjoyable. It is a lovable experience no one wants to miss. But how curious are you to have an encounter with any of these airports? Which one would you like to have an encounter with? Share your comments with us in the space provided below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.